Okay, so I finished my insert. If you remember, I had an insert from Chelsea Paper Co. She doubled up on the papers for me, so there was 60 instead of 30 sheets, I think, something like that anyway. And I took the staples out and took the papers out, split them into two, so I've got two signatures, and I began to sew one of them together. Then I realised obviously I needed to sew, once they were sewn, both signatures were sewn, I needed to sew them together into a cover. So I thought, right, hang on a minute, let me just find an easy way to do this. I can sit down and do some bookbinding, but I just really wanted a simple mixed media sort of way to do it. So I thought, well, I'll try on my sewing machine at the risk of ruining the paper, because I could always cut it smaller and use it for something else. It was just one of those things where it was like, just go for it, you know? And I'm really glad that I did, because it turned out brilliantly. I took my time with it. I just made sure that the papers were all lined up and everything. I stitched in this one first before I stitched this signature onto this card. The card was actually bigger, so once they were both sewn in, I then cut the card size, because you always have to get a really nice flush edge. You're better off cutting it after, leaving extra around it, then cut it cut it afterwards and corner the edges if you want to. So I have this nice sort of edge here, I can't remember, like spine, sorry, here, nice chunky little spine. And yeah, so I sewed this one in first, and I realised all the stitches are a bit short, I'd like them a bit longer. And then when I went to sew this one in, I made them like a little bit longer, but what I did was I lined up the pages, clamped them together, and then I held it sort of like that on my sewing machine and ran it through so that it wouldn't sew actually into this one next to it. So that it came out amazing. I'm so happy with it. So now what I want to do is I want to decorate it. The cardstock is it's a thick craft cardstock, but not as thick, not as sturdy as the one from Chelsea Paper Co, but it's very close to it. So what I want to do is to give the spine a bit more of a support somehow, but I really just want to, I don't want to rush this, but I really want to just sort of cover this in a very mixed media sort of collagey, scrappy way, and do some painting on here as well. So what I did was I picked out the elements that I really love. So all the colours that I like. So I've got some fabrics, this little picture, I really love that little picture. So I did originally have another fabric, but then I thought, no, I really wanted some colours that pop, some pink in there and white, alongside with as well. I really like this card. You can obviously paste this down. This is the tissue paper from, what's her name? Jane Devonport. And you can just sort of, I don't know if this was given to me, I didn't buy it, so I don't know if it's one of those that you have to take, if it's in layers. I don't think it is. Can't feel, no, it doesn't feel to be. I think it's purpose made obviously for collage. I think maybe there's no layers to that. So yeah, I really like this these elements, these watercolour elements. I don't think I really want the face on there, because I really like either this one or I might not even use them all. Got some more fabric and some absolutely stunning ledger paper from my dear friend Lee. She's an absolute star. She sent me some of these and they're so precious, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to use it, but because I've got a few, I'm going to use some as pages in a junk journal. But yeah, I really want to use this as a scrappy element, because look how well they go together. I like all the pinks. So without further ado, I'm going to start this process. I'm going to speed it up with some music, because otherwise this may turn out to be a very long video. Otherwise I'm just going to sit down and concentrate and see, just like switch off actually, and just play. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy this video. Okay, my camera cut out, but this is the base layer. I've literally put down a layer of white paint, and then all of this is what do you call it, gouache by Arteza. So I literally just added a drop of gouache straight from the tube and mushed and moved around the paint to create a very loose and abstract feel to it. So when I look at it and I want to see florals, but you can see anything, you know, because it is meant to be abstract. And I did apply a drop of this Pinata ink in teal, because I just want, and pink as well, you'll see the pink here, that I just added a drop on my brush and mushed it in. But this is like the first layer, the paint layer. I'm going to add a few more marks on here. But with this Pinata, I am going to do another video for you. I just got these yesterday, so yeah, really sorry my camera did not film this bit, but yeah, so I'll just make sure it's recording now. so I'm back. I literally, you won't notice, but I just went into the house to sew together some of the, I mean, it's still slightly damp. It still has to dry out, but yeah, I used my sewing machine to add stitches to this piece. There you go. So I did zigzag and I did straight stitch, and I've left on the outside, I've trimmed the inside, but I left on the outside some loose threads because I really love that feel to it. So it's like perfectly imperfect. And I added a sticker. It says all the beautiful stars of the sky, and I know it's not very clear, but it's clear to me. And I zigzag stitched over it, and then I just went back over the other way. I mean, it would have been more clear to see had I just gone over it once, but I just felt like I needed to go over it again. But again, it really doesn't matter if you can't see what it says. It adds like a mystery to it. So if you're thinking of doing something like this yourself, I know that my camera didn't record the base layer, but in all honesty, it was really simple. All you need to do is get some I know I hate when people say that, and they're like, you know, when they say it to me, and I'm like, oh no, I need you to explain it. But you literally just get a blob of paint on there, and because it's a base layer, it doesn't have to be perfect, and you can just do scribbles, you can do blobs of colour, and then you start layering and layering and layering. I could add more layers to this, but I'm really happy with how this has turned out. The back, I might do some more layers, I don't know, but I just love this element here. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how many times I just try and hold something up, it just doesn't look right, you know. I really wanted to use this card somewhere, actually. I do, like, if I add it up there, it's going to be too top heavy. It needs to be down here somewhere, so I might add this in later. But I feel that, you know, when you get a doily, I know this is like a crochet one, but I want to see what a paper one would look like underneath, but I don't know. I do want this on here though, and I won't glue it on. I'll stick it on with some sticky back plastic once this is dried thoroughly. And then also, I love how this ribbon looks, this piece of sari ribbon. And I don't want to add it as a closure. A, it's too small, but B, this is going in my traveller's notebook, so I don't really want a closure on it. But I thought maybe I could use it as a bookmark, because it is long enough, and I can add a bead to the bottom. So yeah, I could add it there like that. So what I would probably do is find the center, which is here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a needle, not as thick as this one, but get a smaller needle and hand stitch that to the top here, because gluing it just won't hold it securely enough. You see that there? So I can hand stitch it, and that would even add to the element on the outside, just how beautiful that would look. And then once that is in there securely, I have enough of a bottom bit there. I mean, it just looks really nice. Look. Okay, so it looks really lovely. Hang on. As is. I don't really need to add a bead to the bottom of that, but if I wanted to add a bead, I could. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. So I highly recommend, if you're going to do something like this, don't be precious about it, because look at that there. I might glue that down later. I'm not bothered because that's doubled up. It really doesn't matter at all. So yeah, I highly recommend grabbing yourself all the bits of ephemera that you have, and fabrics, and maybe even threads like I've got here in this bag, and pile them up. And then you have a pile of papers, of fabrics and all sorts of things to one side, and then all your paints on the other. Add a base layer of paint and marks. Don't get like precious about it, because it is just a bottom layer. And then begin to add your fabrics and your papers, move them around, play around with them a little bit, and then start gluing them all down. So yeah, so this is my Tomeo River paper insert, all finished. ready to start. So yeah, I'm really sorry I missed out this bit, but I can do another video if you want me to of using the gouache, and I am going to anyway for YouTube and for projects on here. So yeah, really hope you enjoyed the video, and take care. Bye.